All the voltages that we'll be dealing with today are going to be low voltage, somewhere between 12 and 14 volts DC. However, it's still best practice to go ahead and unplug your refrigerator just to avoid any issues. The next step will involve removing a bezel. The bezel surrounds the control board on the outside of the freezer door, and there's 8 hidden clips behind it. It's useful to know where these are. There's 1 on each corner and 2 on each side. Now I'll tell you, this black plastic gets very brittle with age, and these clips do have a tendency to break. The good news is this bezel is fairly cheap if you had to replace it, but most times if a clip breaks, it's really of no consequence. It installs back just fine. Let me show you how I do it. Some refrigerators will have a bezel that needs to be removed. As I mentioned previously, there's 8 hidden clips, 1 in each corner, 2 here, and 2 here. You'll find on the lower left and lower right hand corners there's a little cutout where you can fit a flat blade screwdriver. Put that in and pull out towards you. That clip will come away. Now once you've gotten that corner loose, don't slide your fingers along the side. This will cut you. Work on the next clip by taking the outside edge and pushing it inward as you're pulling out towards you. Work your way along doing the same. And that's how it's removed. Now that we have the bezel removed, the next step is to remove the control board. This is done by placing 3 fingers on each side underneath. Put your thumbs on the refrigerator, lift up slightly with your fingers as you're pulling towards you. You'll feel it pull away, then you're able to flip the board over. Now that we have the control board tilted away, you'll grab the plugs, do your best not to grab the wires, and pull away from the control board. You may have to wiggle slightly as you do this. And some of them won't allow you to grab the plugs, so pull gently on those wires as you're wiggling. Go ahead and set that aside. Now that the control board's removed, we'll have 4 Phillips head screws that we need to remove, 1 in each corner. Just a tip, when you reinstall this piece, make sure not to over tighten these. Super easy to do. Take note also of how these wires are routed over the top. Once those 4 screws are removed, pull this piece straight out and set that aside. We're going to clean the area directly underneath this dispenser water line. You'll notice that that is in the same shape as this heater. So we're going to clean, make sure that it's dry and clean, all inside that area. Once you've given that a couple minutes to dry, we're now going to remove the adhesive backing from this foil heater. There's a paper backing. You'll notice it has a cut in it. That's not damage. That's designed so that whenever you install this, the foil will route around this dispenser. Once it's installed, it should look similar to this. Once you have the dispenser heater in place, you need to reinstall this piece. Make sure that all the wires route over the top. Your 2 dispenser wires will come out next to this larger plug. Again, just another reminder not to over-tighten these Phillips head screws whenever you put them back in. Just get them snug, and that's good enough. Now I've brought us in close to this wiring harness where we're going to hook up these 2 dispenser heater wires. Yours may or may not look just like mine. There's 2 different varieties. But the only color that changes is on this number 6 wire. Yours may not have 6 wires, it may have less, but it will have 6 spots right here. And the pins that we're dealing with are number 2 and number 6. So from left to right, it's 1, 2 is red, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That wire may change colors on you. Mine is black and white, yours may be solid white. So, the number 2 pin, where the red wire is, how this works is give yourself some slack, choose somewhere about the middle of the wire. And slide that wire in that cradle all the way in. Take either one of your white wires from your dispenser heater and stick that into the hole in the top. So you can see both the red and the white wire. At that point, you take your metal crimp. I'm going to stick that in the top. It only goes one direction. Then using your pliers, you'll crimp down on that metal crimp until it's flush. Once it's flush, go ahead and close that until it clicks. So you've just attached one of the dispenser heater wires to the red wire. That's crimped in place. Now we're going to have to do the same on the number 6 slot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The very last wire. Once you've got your wires crimped in place, we can reinstall the control board. The wires only plug back in one direction, so you don't have to worry about that. There's a little groove on top that you have to hook in place and then press down on the bottom. It should click in place. Now that that's installed, we can reinstall our bezel. Line up the clip holes on the sides. Now you can plug your refrigerator back in. And you're done. Well, there you go. I hope the information was helpful. If you do have any questions, please be sure to leave those in the comments. I'll do my absolute best to answer them. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. This channel only focuses on GE side-by-side refrigerator repair videos. It's geared towards the do-it-yourselfer, so you may learn something and you'll probably save some money in the process. Talk to you next time.